Hello silver friends, this is Joli from QuickSilverHair. I am finally back to it. I am finally feeling better. Some of you may not know this, but I had COVID in November and it was the first time that I have had it and I got it pretty bad. It was not easy for me to get through. I appreciate all of your messages, all of your emails of well wishes, and I am finally doing so much better. It took me a couple of weeks to test negative. Once I did test negative, it took a little while for me to resolve most of the symptoms. You may notice that my voice is still a little weird, but I decided that I wanted to do this video and get back to it, and here we are. In today's video, we're going to talk about shine. I get comments all the time and questions all the time from you asking me how to make your silver hair shine. And I think that part of this issue needs to be addressed with hair type. So I would encourage you to go check out my hair type post. I will link it in the description box below, because I think understanding your hair type will also help you understand what products you need for shine. For instance, low porosity and fine hair is more prone to just naturally be shiny because the cuticle is flatter and it is reflecting light a little better. When you have coarser hair or higher porosity hair, that cuticle is disrupted, it is raised, and it is not reflecting light as well, so it is not as shiny. Another factor in shine is whether you have straight, wavy, or curly hair. The curlier your hair is, for some reason, I think that maybe it's just the bend and the shadows in the bend, you may not have as shiny a hair type. For those people with straight hair, you may notice that your hair is always shiny, or you may be noticing, if it is a higher porosity, that it looks really flat and lifeless. So in this video, we're going to get into ways to help with that, but I wanted to touch base on that hair type dictates a lot about shine. A lot of you notice that my hair is very shiny, and it is shiny because, one, it is low porosity, it is fine, and it is wavier than curly. So that gives me just a natural propensity to have shine. I also use a lot of products that help bring that shine out. And I actually can tell when I don't care for products that are weighing my hair down by the lack of shine. All of a sudden my hair won't be as shiny. First, let's go over some of the main causes of dull hair. Number one is using clarifying shampoo too much or not enough. So you can swing the pendulum either direction. If you're using clarifying shampoos or really stripping shampoos too often, you're stripping the natural oils off your hair, you're stripping out the conditioning agents from your conditioners out of your hair, and that will lead to dullness. When you swing it to the other direction, if you aren't clarifying at all, you may have product buildup, mineral buildup. You may have all of this buildup that is weighing down your hair and creating this dullness because all of that product is blocking light from reflecting off of your hair. Too much protein can be the next issue. I know there's a lot going on right now in the hair world about protein versus moisture. That's not what I'm talking about. What can happen is if you're using the wrong protein for your hair type, so if you're using something that's too large for your fine hair, or you're using something like amino acid in your coarse hair, you may have an imbalance with the type of protein that your hair actually desires. But when you have too much protein or the wrong type of protein on your hair, it can lead to dullness. This is going to be particularly evident in straighter, finer, lower porosity hair. Next would be bond builders, which I think that would kind of fit in the same kind of category as protein. If you are using bond builders on your silver hair and you don't have any damage, I would highly encourage you to check out my video and my post on bond builders, because I do believe that if you don't have damaged hair, bond builders can build up on the hair and cause a plethora of issues aside from taking away your shine. Obviously, the overuse of something like dry shampoo is going to pull the shine down from your hair because it's absorbing all of the oils in your hair, and dry shampoos are usually made with powders, which inherently are not shiny. and the overuse of pigmented shampoos and conditioners like blue shampoo or purple masks, etc. These pigments layer onto the hair and they cover the hair shaft. So eventually, if you're using them too much, they will build up and they will decrease the shine in your hair. The second major cause of lackluster silver is using products that are high in butters, waxes, gums, polyquats, silicones, etc. These products that actually are meant to coat the hair eventually will cause a dullness to the hair. If you aren't clarifying them away, they will build up over time. None of these ingredients are to be avoided necessarily unless you are avoiding them for your hair type. So if you have coarser, denser hair, butters and waxes may be really beneficial to you. If you have finer hair, you may not need any of these ingredients because they are heavier and they may weigh your hair down. So if you are experiencing like one time your hair does look shiny and then over a short period of time, all of a sudden it starts to look less shiny and starts to become lackluster, this could be a sign that your products have the wrong ingredients for your hair or you need to be clarifying more often. I want to make a little note here about polyquats. Polyquats are a category of ingredients. Many of these ingredients have different properties. They do different things. Some of the polyquats have the tendency to build up and some of them don't. So that's not something you want to just 100% avoid altogether. As with silicones, your hair may like silicones and you may want to continue to use them. Silicones actually contribute to shine, but you want to make sure that you're not using them in every product in your lineup and you want to make sure that it's not building up on your hair. The third category of issues that can cause buildup and dullness on your hair is environmental exposures. So this can be anything from chemical treatments like bleaching, straightening, or perming. It can be pollution. It can be smoke or smog in your area depending on where you live or where you work, because it could be cigarette smoke, or if you work in a factory or something where there is something burning all the time and that is in the air, that could affect the color of your hair and its shine. UV exposure, we are all exposed to sun. This is the one thing none of us can avoid, and UV exposure over time will damage that cuticle. And even if you don't experience yellowing from UV exposure, you can experience this dullness because it zaps the moisture out of your hair. Water. So swimming pools, wells, and hard water can affect the shine of your hair if those minerals start building up on the hair and create that coating. Lastly, in environmental exposures, it would be wind and climate and any kind of outdoor activity that you do. These all can contribute to moisture loss in your hair and of course exposure to sun if you're outside, and it will eventually cause dullness in your hair. Number 4 on my list is heat damage. I talk about this all the time. Even if you aren't experiencing any yellowing or any brassiness to your hair from heat, you may be experiencing some dryness that can cause dullness. So the overuse of heat tools can cause this issue, and you want to make sure that you are using a heat protectant to help mitigate that issue. The final issue that can cause your shiny silvers to lose their luster is your health. Your inner health dictates a lot about what's happening with your hair. Everything from hair loss to the color of your hair to the sheen of your hair is affected by your inner health. So you could have hormone issues, vitamin deficiencies, and so forth that could be contributing to this issue, especially if it was something that you noticed gradually over time changing. Like maybe you transitioned to your white hair and it was perfectly white and it was really beautiful and shiny, and then several years later it looks really different. This could be an indicator that it is a health-related issue. What do you do to bring your hair back to its best shine? First, make sure you're using the right clarifying shampoo for your needs. If you're using a lot of products that build up, you want a shampoo that is clarifying for buildup. So especially where polyquats are concerned, where I was talking about, you want a product that is designed to remove those polyquats. For instance, Undo Goo from Malibu Sea is great for product buildup. Next, you want to make sure you're using a shampoo that actually does cleanse your hair without stripping it and has some ingredients in it to help with mineral buildup and so forth. My favorite is 𝐶𝐬 because it does have some chelating ingredients in it. So my new favorite chelating shampoo is from The Ordinary. I find this shampoo to be excellent for all levels of clarifying, and I think it's a great shampoo to replace the Neutrogena anti-residue shampoo because it does have sulfates in it, but it also has chelating ingredients in it. So if you want a one and done, this is probably the one I would recommend for you to use as a clarifying shampoo. I actually like to use The Ordinary shampoo after I do my clay mask. My QuickSilverHair clay was actually designed to remove any kind of environmental buildup and any kind of product buildup because it's meant to sit on the hair and grab all of those impurities and carry them away. Unfortunately, sun damage and heat damage cannot be undone. Once that happens, you have to grow it out. This might be the place where a bond builder might help you if you need it. If you have some severe heat or sun damage, it may help in conjunction with the use of clarifying and deep conditioning. The big question, of course, is how do you add that shine back in? One thing you want to make sure you're doing is make sure you're using conditioner and make sure you're using a leave-in with heat and UV protection in it all the time. You want to make sure that you're protecting that hair strand and giving it its best chance. Another thing that you can try to restore shine is a little bit of baking soda with your shampoo once a week. This would be a 1-to-1 ratio of 1 teaspoon of baking soda to 1 teaspoon of shampoo. This is probably best if you have low porosity hair because it'll help kind of lift the cuticle and carry away anything that is trapped underneath the cuticle. If you want to try an apple cider vinegar rinse to help restore shine, I would recommend this for coarser, higher porosity hair types because it actually helps close the cuticle down and add that shine back into your hair. Other things that you can use are shine enhancing balms, serums, oils, etc. My favorites are, of course, squalane oil and squalane rich products because squalane oil is clear and you can use it on silver hair without worrying. Squalane is also lightweight, easy to remove, and doesn't cause buildup. My favorite for a lot of hair types, I don't use it that often because I don't use heat the way this product was designed for, is the Bumble & Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil. This is an excellent UV and heat protectant. It does have a little bit of an oily texture to it, so it can add shine to your hair. My favorite silicone-based serums are from Loma. They have two. One is the Nourishing Oil Treatment, and the other is the Light Nourishing Oil Treatment. They are different formulas, but they do work really well to add shine to your hair. When I finally decided that maybe I needed a little bit of silicone in my hair diet, this is the product that I use the most, which I use it as the last step in my routine. I scrunch out my crunch with this on my hands, and it allows my hair to be completely sealed as the last step in my styling process. Again, with silicones, you just want to make sure that it's right for your hair and that it's not building up on you and becoming an issue that causes more dullness. Some bonus things to think about that can help you are using a microfiber towel because this helps to not disrupt the cuticle like a terry cloth towel can do. Using a silk pillowcase, same thing. The cotton from a cotton pillowcase can disrupt the cuticle and it can also absorb moisture from your hair, which can ultimately lead to drier hair and less shine. A nice little bonus tip for those of you with soft water, make sure you are really rinsing your hair completely. The thing about soft water is that it's already conditioning and it can be over conditioning because it can leave conditioner on your hair. So if you want, you can actually use mineral water to rinse your hair, or just make sure you give it a good extra rinse so that you don't have product left in your hair, and make sure that you are still clarifying your hair once in a while to get product buildup off. Finally, get regular trims. If you aren't trimming your hair regularly, the dullness that you see on the ends of your hair will become very obvious because that hair, especially if you have long hair, is the oldest hair on your head and it just gets dull over time. If you aren't trimming it, it can look more dull because it might be getting split and it's very dry. That's it for this video. I hope you appreciated all of these tips to restore the shine to your hair. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And while you're down there, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to see you next time. Until then, shine on.